every album is always the last album for me, because I don't ever plan ahead. I don't plan. Okay, the next in 2 years we're gonna have this kind of album, and maybe I should write this kind of album or whatever. It's always the last album, and then I hope that the music comes from somewhere, and it comes from the place that I don't push it at all. Then it's Swallow the Sun album. Then it's perfect.
Juha of Swallow the Sun, thank you so much for your time today. The engine has started again. Well, it started some time ago, obviously, as the first singles were starting to come out. Shining is coming out October 18. How are you doing right now?
Well, first of all, yes, everything was correct there, but you should never ask from a Finnish person, how are you doing? You don't want to hear the answer, or then the answer is so long that that actually happened to my friend from the States. Yeah. He was visiting Finland, and he was in a bar in Finland, and he was just a little bit American thing, like, hey dude, how is it going? And I was telling that he started to tell his whole life story and all the problems and everything he has. I don't want to hear it. So so that was a little bit American Finnish thing. So you shouldn't ask that from a Finnish person, especially in a bar.
Good to know. Good to know. Next time I'm in a bar in Finland, I will not ask that.
Don't ask it from a Finnish person. How are you doing? But it's okay. I'm back doing interviews after 8 years. And so set up the mic, it seems to be working, and
it is working. It's working perfectly. And you're right. In North America, how are you? It's kind of the same as saying hi. It is different. As somebody that was born and raised in Europe and moved to North America later in life, that was a change. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean it's still. I mean, we've been touring a lot in North America, and I'm very used to it. Like, going into the 7-Eleven or whatever and buy everything, and it's always the same routine. Hello sir, how are you doing? I'm doing fine. How are you doing? I'm doing fine. I'm like, what a waste of time. In Finland, I mean, the counter doesn't even smile. It's just beeps and the pays by.
Melancholy, Melancholia, will you chase the sun?
You have played North America definitely before. I saw you last in Toronto in the Velvet Underground. We'll see you again in the Velvet Underground. You are coming back for a really cool tour. I think it's February that the tour kicks off. Leave it to a Finnish band to be totally okay to tour North America in the deep of winter, especially Toronto when it can be quite cold. How hard is it adjusting on a tour like that for you and for everybody in the band, going on a tour in the winter? But if you go from Canada to the southern states, you go from minus 30 degrees to plus 20 degrees and very humid. All those changes, that must take a toll on everybody in the band.
Well, it does. It always takes a toll for whom the bell toll. For us, that's for sure. It's I actually love it. I mean, I love the cold more, and I'm not trying to be cliched, or anything like that. But if I can manage the cold so much better than the heat. So when we go down to Arizona and everything, it's like I'm like, fuck this. Your head just burns when you just look out from the bus and it's like a Friday. So I really love the thing I love the most touring in North America is that you see everything. I mean,
right.
I totally love it. I mean, the landscapes and the mountains and the big lakes and so every time we come to Canada, it feels like coming back home in many ways. Yeah. In that way, like of course, because we are kind of the same level in the map. But I love it. There's lots of adapting for many things, mostly parts.
Melancholia, Melancholia, all these days are here to stay.
You said it's been 8 years since I've been doing interviews. It's starting to become quite a legacy at this point. It's over 20 years of Swallow the Sun. You're not quite classic rock just yet, but you're getting on that on that border. The music that you play has a melancholic side to it. There is a nostalgia in there as well. Is that only in the music, or is that something for you day in, day out also? Like, do you spend a lot of time reminiscing about what has been? Like, do you take a step back, especially now in this roller coaster of another album and everybody's talking about it, to kind of appreciate that this has been going on for 20 years and the journey that you've made is not a given in today's art world?
Well, absolutely. In a way, the whole music style, like this kind of, because it's at least still a kind of like underground music style. Right. It always will be in a way. For me, we don't have a style. We just play what comes from the heart. Heart is our style. Yeah, sometimes I think, well, when I think back, like the band is 25 years next year. And if I think if I will have a 25-year-old son, I mean, that will make it even more like clear to you, like it's quite a long time and quite a trip so far. But the thing that I only, 2000 I made those 4 demos of a few songs that I just needed to get out from my system, and thing about just recording those demos coming to this moment. There was just a book that came out from the whole band, the history and what has happened and everything, and it's still not in English, but I hope soon. Only in Finnish at the moment, this Swallow the Sun book. But thinking, I was just other day I was talking about this thing that if 2000, if me from the future would have come and give this book and like a real Back to the Future moment, then and if I would have read that book, no, I'm serious, I don't know what I would have done. I mean, this book is very, very, it's we didn't do any kind of we never take anything safe in this band, not music-wise or not anything. So we also did the book. It's super, super honest and raw, and many people know what the band has gone through on a personal level and on the touring and everything. So if I would have that book 20 years ago, I mean, I would do the Kurt Cobain hairstyle, I'm pretty sure. So and if I read the book and then you think about 25 years and then all the albums, there was even the triple album from 2015, and I count, of course, those. It's 3 albums there, and then Plague of Butterflies EP is it's a new music over full-length album. So I think we are going on like 12 or our 12th album, this new one, or 13th or something like that. I don't know, but it's a lot of music and a lot of history, and lots have happened in the band and outside. Everything has been affecting the music also in many ways. What's going on in the band also. So it's a trip. It has been a trip, and every album is always the last album for me, because I don't ever plan ahead. I don't plan. Okay, the next in 2 years we're gonna have this kind of album, and maybe I should write this kind of album or whatever. It's always the last album, and then I hope that the music comes from somewhere, and it comes from the place that I don't push it at all. Then it's Swallow the Sun album. Then it's perfect album.
On this album, I feel like there's undeniably there's a bunch of new sounds that we hear from the band, but it's almost like mixed in with almost every element that we've heard from you in the past, and sometimes within specific songs. I think especially at the last 2-3 songs of the album is almost like a buffet of everything that Swallow the Sun has ever been. but it's all kind of like mixed together as one roller coaster, if you will. Some of the newer sounds, for me, almost sprinkle in some level of, I don't know if positivity is the right word, or uplifting, but maybe more hope in the music. And I'm not talking necessarily about the lyrics, but more about the music side. With what you're saying, like, you know, every time I write an album, it kind of takes everything out of me and it almost destroys me. Was that really needed then for you to have a bit of an more quote unquote uplifting album, as far as Swallow the Sun can be uplifting, maybe, I don't know, today after everything that happened?
Yeah, it's like I said, I don't plan the music, or I don't think that, especially I don't think what the fans will want to hear or what the world will want to hear. I just write what comes from the right place, and that's always going to be, at least with this band. It's otherwise I'm not going to release anything if I'm not 100%. It didn't come from the 100% from the right place, and it always have done that with this band. But yeah, the album is very far from any like a positive thing. There's a positive things in that way that I've been kind of forced myself to look a little bit deeper into myself in a way that I've been reflecting the outside world a lot also with the past albums and what has happened and everything. And I still do. I always will to the end, to my last breath. Everything is gonna be in me and an effect on everything I write. But yeah, the Moonflowers album with the lockdown and COVID shit and everything, it pushed me back to the zero and on the minus side. And I was just coming to this healing place with when Shadow Forced into the Light, which is the album I love. It's written from love. I absolutely love that album, and then everything felt good and things were going on totally in the right direction. And what happened? The fucking demons came back and shut the world down, prevent me to leave. I love where I am in the forest. I live quite isolated place here in a deep forest and this very small village. So and I love this place and I love the horses and my animals and cats and everything. But when you've been forced to stay in one place, I mean, and of course there's so much memories and so much things when I go outside or go anywhere here, what I think about what has happened and everything. And so in that way, it's very important for me to get out to the horse and everything. And then I was locked in, and then the Moonflowers came out from that. What I felt, it really destroyed my life a lot on a place where I had worked myself into to much better place, and the future was looking much better. So then that's why I fucking hate Moonflowers album. That was I think the only thing I said about the Moonflowers, that I hate this album. I fucking hate that I have to write this album, and I love it for the same reason, that it's so painful, it's so honest again.
Yeah, visceral in a way.
Yeah, so it's a quite schizophrenic thing, but I love it because I hate it so much. But it's so painful and it's so dark album and everything that after all the Moonflowers tours and everything, that was the only thing. First time I told myself when we ended the tours and everything, I was stepping myself in on the stage. I always will. I have to give everything, and I don't need to give anything. It just happens because it's so truthful songs and everything. So after all that touring, finally we got back on touring and did the Moonflowers album and touring, and I was like, there was a little voice in me that said that if there is going to be any music, I remember this, I was thinking that, well, Juha, if there is any music in the future, or maybe you should have a little bit mercy, kind of like a mercy for yourself a little bit, that this is not going to end very well for you or people you love. And so, yeah, like I said, it's a very dangerous place. And for the person like me who feels everything 1,000,000%. I'm a Finnish bastard, so I'm a very cold person. There's a song called "Cold" in this, on the album too, but I got both sides are quite powerful in me. So I tend to go so deep. I don't see, and I went so deep that I got blinded with the dark about the light that I already passed. That was around me and surround me. So in that way, that was the little voice in me about if there's going to be new music. And when the new music came, and it always comes with a big flood, and it's done. And I don't even remember much about those times. Then I was right away, anyways, when the music started to pour in, I was like, oh, yeah, something listened to me in the back of my mind. Maybe it was some kind of a guardian angel or something that led me to this kind of this music, to write this out. And you're right, it's positive is not very good word when you read the lyrics and everything, but the positive thing in that way is that I was try to understand myself a little bit more and try to understand other people who has done wrong to me in this life and who I have done wrong and everything, and kind of like none of us are perfect, and I'm kind of like whipping myself a lot always my life, that things that I could have done and done better or make people more happy, or when I made them less seriously less. So at least it's a good, I guess, positive thing that I could look into those things and also try to forgive myself a little bit, which is this album is kind of like, and the other people too. So we can't control. I'm a quite control freak, but I kind of like have to let go about that a little bit. That I just can't. I can't save everybody, or I can't, because I can't save myself. It seems to be so. So yeah, that's a lot what this album is about. In that way, it's positive, at least to understand thing about yourself. But uplifting is a kind of good word that I feel with the music, because it's so powerful and it's so melodic that uplifting is a good word, because I was so deep in that place. So it kind of, the music is trying to say me, uplift me. Don't go deeper now, because it's not gonna end well.
Was that then also the reason why, the Innocence song, which opens the album, which was released as the first single, that it is the song that is the most of that uplifting feeling, if you will. I had a chance obviously to listen to the full album, and throughout the album, like I said earlier, we get all the sides we know and love from you guys, and they're kind of mixed together. Some songs are very hard and heavy and extreme, some are much more melodic, but that opening song is maybe the most like that. Is that the reason then also with what you're just describing, that had to be the first song you hear of this new album to kind of make that statement of everything that you just basically said? Is it as simple as that you need to know that this element is now part of our sound, even if throughout the album that those uplifting melodic themes are balanced out with heavy, dark, and extreme stuff? Was that the reason? And obviously, if when you do that, when you release a first single that is quite different, your old school fans are going to be like, what? Huh? I don't quite get it. That's going to happen. That's going to happen with a band that has been around as long as you have, and then all those fans can discover the full album soon. And be, and relax if they like more the extreme old school stuff, because it's there on the album. But was it then really important to have that first song be a statement?
Oh, yeah, well, it's like I said, I don't plan that much about these things. It just it falls into the place naturally. But yes, with that Innocence song, like what I was talking about, it's kind of like understanding that, kind of forgiving yourself also a little bit, like understand that, hey, innocence been long forgotten already, with humans and how we act and react and what we do. So but yeah, it's yeah, I don't know. We knew, of course, that that there was a little bit of like electronic elements on the first single, and that the True Doom people. But you know, I really, of course, I care about our fans, but I can't write anything for the fans. Or
Right.
I think that will be the first. Even the people who kind of like think that, oh, this band has gone pop, or what are
the
they
moment
doing?
they hold, yeah.
I
The
mean,
moment they hold Charcoal Sky at the end, that those doubts are long gone. I think by that point.
yeah, November.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
So anyways, it's kind of like, yeah, if I would think about like that and keep on going doing the first album over and over again. Well, after the first album, we will have to start to do bad albums. If I would think that okay, the first album was like a perfect album, which it is. All our albums are perfect. You know, I'm a cocky guy, but you know, but only with the music, not what's in the pants. But cocky. So in that way, it's if I think that's the biggest like a problem. Oh, I think that's the part when the bands or musicians start to go wrong when they start to plan. And I certainly know that many people will want me to plan ahead a little bit more, because it will be much easier to arrange the other sides, you know, with the band and the tours, and when the next album is going to come out, and maybe try to strike. Okay, now at the moment this kind of style is should try. Fuck that shit. I mean, it's the furthest of me that can be as a songwriter. Because I need to stand behind the music 110%, because otherwise any critic will affect me. Yeah. And I'm already a broken bastard. So if I will start to be crying my eyes out at what other people say, that will be a real torture. Well, luckily, when I do the music, always perfect for myself, of course, you know, then you're safe. Then you can always, you know, it doesn't matter, and nothing matters after that. After that, if the people like it or not, and eventually, I mean, everybody can hear it anyways. That is, well, I hope at least that it's coming from the right place. I mean, like, our albums have always been quite a trip, and the different colors and the spectrum of the music has always been a huge. I mean, so for those people who the first single's been very short, very into the business, and very melodic, very powerful songs. So I understand, usually around 3 minutes and 50 seconds we even haven't even started the song.
Yeah.
And now it's already gone, the song. So I understand that there's a lot of there can be people who feel like, what's going on? Where's the actual, you know, song? But then again, if you think about like even Lumina Aura that came before the When the Shadow is Forced into the Light, there was people, they were terrified that this is not even music. What is this shit? And everything, and it couldn't be more Swallow the Sun. And then the album came, and then like, whew. I mean, but I understand these days it's so easy. We make, the world is such a fast place, and we are making all kind of options right away. So, but that's fine. That's fine.
Well, all those fans, they will discover first when the album comes out. The whole breadth of the album, you already mentioned November Dust, which is absolutely one of the standout songs. There's a lot of cool songs, obviously, on the album. The emotional ending with the title track as well. I hope to see these songs played live when you're here in Toronto in the Velvet Underground. Juha, thank you so much for opening the door and letting us in and understand more where all this art comes from. I really appreciate your time, and I wish you the best of luck with this 12th album release cycle.
Yeah, I don't know how many but it's definitely our 9th album, even
At least your 9th. But
I mean, I guess that's if you count and leave out the EP and everything. But thank you so much. Thank you from my heart. And yeah, sorry I've been away for so long time. And maybe I go back to my troll cave and don't speak to anybody ever again after this. But everybody's been super nice so far, at least with the interviews and everything. So it's been good to come back and so talk about
We're glad you're back. We're glad you're back.
You are awesome for watching this video. Click right here to see more content like it and subscribe to the channel.